Right, guys, welcome to another chat about all things fitness, health and well-being. Last week we had Marcus Benson, the lead instructor or the head of fitness, in fact, for the Energy Gym Group. So that was really interesting. And this week we're changing tack again, and we've got a pain relief expert. So Tracy and Nicola has joined me today from the Revitalize Plan, their business. And it's all about pain relief and pain prevention. Thank you for joining me today, Tracy. How are you doing, buddy?
Hello, I'm great. Thanks, Rob. Thanks for inviting me on. It's lovely to have a little chat with you as well.
No, that's brilliant. Thanks. So we've been talking with you about running a seminar or workshop with you guys and your business partner for some time now. It's just not come off at the moment, but tell us a little bit about your business and what you do. And also, I think you've got an interesting story of how you got into fitness and everything yourself as well.
Yeah, I think if I start with my story, it kind of makes more sense. So I actually went through a weight loss journey myself to start with, which is what a lot of people, I guess, get into. And I got into running and I got into weightlifting and things like that. But actually, I ended up not doing it correctly or not getting advice from the right people. And I played netball at the same time. And during a netball game, I actually got injured. So I ended up with an ACL injury myself. I went with so many different physios from the NHS to private to try and get rid of the pain and get back to playing netball. I had about 5 years out in the end because I just couldn't get rid of the pain, because even though I was back to walking, those niggles just kept coming back when I was running, and especially things like netball. They are quite high impactful on the knees. And it wasn't until I met with my business partner, who has been a corrective exercise specialist for about 25 years, that he actually took me through a process of understanding where my muscle imbalances were and really getting to know the body and how the muscles were working in my body to get me back to netball. And last year, just before lockdown, I went back to netball. So actually playing games again, which was amazing. And now I'm injury free. And if I get any sort of niggle, I know exactly what I can do to get back. And that's exactly what we're now teaching with our clients and customers.
I love that. I love that. It's more about education, isn't it? And knowledge, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Because I don't think people should have to rely on somebody else for the rest of their life. They need to be able to know what they need to know for their own body, and everyone is different, so that once you get pain-free, you can actually make sure that you stay that way so that you can go off. And what's more important for us is to make people have better lifestyles. So if they want to go trekking on holiday, they can do that and into older life as well and continue to enjoy that.
Yeah, no, brilliant. Knowledge is one of those themes that we keep coming back to, and it comes up so many times on these little chats that we have. If you understand the way something works, or understand how to do something properly, then that empowers you, doesn't it? It gives you the ability to take action for yourself, and it gives you confidence in what you're doing as well. So that's brilliant. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. That, and empowering people to take control of their own health and fitness is our number one thing, really.
Yeah, because I can think of several members that we have here who have recurring, ongoing injuries, and it's back and forth to a physio. So I love the concept that actually you understand it, you understand how your body's working,
yeah,
and through your expertise, like say, right, these are the things that I need to do. And I've seen it, with correcting form and movements and things. Some people struggle because we've been doing the same thing for years and years and years. It's just our bodies get used to it, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we move in a certain way with our bodies, and when muscles aren't firing correctly, our bodies are quite clever in some ways because it compensates.
Yeah.
So it tries to use the other muscles to protect the body, but over time that compensation will get bigger and bigger, and that's where pain then starts to kick in, because the body's just not moving as effectively as it should do. And people are spending like £50,000 over a series of 10 years going to physios, massage, therapists, chiropractors, all those different things. £50,000 over 10 years is a lot of money. And if you can actually, so the clients that I've been working with over lockdown, we've actually been getting rid of their pain within 6 and 12 weeks.
Yeah, so massive difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's brilliant. And so we were chatting the other day about we've noticed here for so many people going out to running in particular, and like you say, netball, so high impact, twist, turn, knees, joints are getting a real hammering, but so too is running. It's one of those high impact things that we can do, isn't it? And so what have you things have you noticed with this uptake of running across the board? I've seen so many people hobbling around our Redways and Milton Keynes. What have you guys noticed in particular from this?
I think because people are having to be more sedentary because they have been at home and they have been moving around a lot less. And then there are those that have been actively trying to do more by going walking or running. But when you're going from a state of being still to then that high impact of running, your body just isn't prepared for that movement and motion. And if your muscles aren't firing as they should be and is effective in those movements, then that's when you're going to start to see pain. So people are going to be hobbling around and they think I've had people have hip pain, knee pain, even shoulder pain when it comes to running, especially with that sort of forward desk posture. It can be created in any area of the body from top or bottom.
Yeah, so it's not always that, you might think, oh, my knees are hurting, that's going to be running. But yeah, you're saying basically your upper back might have an issue that's being compounded by that running.
Yeah, and I think that's where, no disrespect, but to other physios, they are missing the full body approach because they're focusing in on that area where there is pain. So for example, the knee, but for example, one of the clients that I've worked with, it was actually a shoulder issue, which is causing knee pain, which you kind of wouldn't imagine that, but because the shoulders were forward, actually you're in that forward leaning position when you're running, you're then compensating throughout the body all the way down to the floor.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah. So what have you been doing through lockdown then? And what have you seen? Have you been staying busy? Have you had an increase in business and clients coming to you guys with these injuries because of the running you've taken up doing after years of not doing it, or for example? But has it been a busy time for you guys?
Yeah, it's been a really busy time. I think it was interesting to see the transition from face-to-face to online because a lot of people were nervous about it to start with. But I think we're all getting used to these Zoom calls now. And actually, for exercise, you don't have to be hands-on. So as long as you can coach someone visually and you can coach them by explaining things to them, you can keep it really simple. And particularly with things with pain, it's all body weight stuff anyway to help you fix it. So business has seen a growth for us over the last couple of months. Whether that's because people are injuring themselves more because they are more sedentary or they're walking too far for their own body's capabilities, or whether actually this is the time that they've had to almost take a breather from life and are having more time to actually go, do you know what? That pain has been bothering me for about 2 years. It's about time I did something about it. So when they go back to their activities, when we come out of all of this, it'll be interesting to see that how they progress to the next level. They're now pain-free, so it's just maintaining that to the next, getting back to that, I don't know, whatever they're doing, activities, golf or
yeah.
So
you guys do group workshops. That's what we've discussed doing with you guys. How does that format work in pre-COVID times, or have you been doing these workshops now as well?
Yeah, we've been doing them specifically for different groups of people. So we've done a belly dancing one, we've done a horse riding one. So there's been a few different types. The main body mechanics of your body work the same. How you use your body will be different depending on the sport or the thing that you're doing. The workshops work because most people don't understand where their pain is coming from. So that it's a very interactive workshop. It's through a lot of assessments, which you can then self-assess for yourself to try and understand where your pain is coming from. You see the differences between left and right, and that asymmetry, we then talk you through what exercises you need to do to try and create those balances again within the body. So we essentially, with those workshops, talk you through what's causing you pain, and how you can fix it. So what are the techniques that you can use to start reducing that pain for you?
That's really interesting. What I'd like to know is, so you just talked about asymmetry, people being lopsided one way or another. What might cause an asymmetry like that? We see it all the time here as well. What might be the cause of someone being much more biased to one side than the other?
Sometimes it can come from an injury itself. Like if you've gone over on your ankle, you might have just had a little fall somewhere, and already that the body is starting to protect itself. And or it might, the fact that we're sitting down all day, meaning that our glutes aren't working and active as they should do, the body starts to compensate and use other muscles. And where you find you are tight, let's say you're tight in your quads, if you've got really strong quads, it probably means that your glutes aren't working and the quads are then having to overwork. And throughout the body, you've got these opposing muscles that are overactive and tight, and then underactive and weak. And so it's rebalancing that out to stretch one side and activate the other.
So I suppose it's symmetry front to rear as well as from left to right.
As left to right, yeah, exactly that.
And I suppose the other one would be postural issues. You mentioned about people being hunched over. So is that one of the other key things that influence whether people pick up pain and injury? Yeah,
absolutely. And especially now if people are working from home and they're working on desks that aren't really made for good posture and sitting upright. Wonder
we're both like that now. Oh.
Yeah, makes me want to start to talk about posture. But it's having this forward rounded position actually leaves this muscle in a shortened position, and over the time the brain kind of talks to your muscles and says, well, if you're going to always be like that, you don't need this many sarcomeres within the muscle, and it stays like that. And actually then what that happens is it causes the muscles in the back of the body around the scapula to actually weaken, and the rhomboids in between the scapula to stop you from bringing them back. So if you can lengthen the front of the body and strengthen the back, then this upper body posture becomes a lot and more improved. And that's important. There is a test that you can do, and it's interesting. If you stand with your feet turned out like a duck, with your knees bent in, flop forward like a teenager, take your arm out to the side and get someone to push down on your arm, you'll find you're particularly weak and you won't be able to resist them down. But if you straighten your feet up, squeeze your glutes, tuck your core underneath, stand with your shoulders back, and then take your arm out, you'll be so much stronger in those movements. So when you take that through to more functional everyday movements, or even within the gym, and you want to improve your lifting, you've got to have that solid posture and core stability through the center of the body. So that's including the glutes, the transverse abdominis, and the scapular muscles when I'm talking about core. So it's all the way through. So that when you are moving around or running in your sport, then you are much stronger across the body, and that then stabilizes the arms and legs to work efficiently as they should.
One thing I've noticed, in particular with females, is there has that what you just described, bringing your knees together, that posture, the thing where the knees come in. And you see that if you're even just walking down the street, I see people and I notice, oh, that woman's walking. And you don't see that with guys. Now, I've got a theory, it's something to do with wearing skirts or something. You know, the fact that women have spent their life pulling their knees together to keep that, so they're not flashing everyone. Is there a particular reason for it? Because I thought I might as well ask the expert at the moment.
Yeah, I mean,
was that putting you on spot?
I mean, I do see it in men as well, to be honest, but there is a massive difference, and that is the hips. So the hips on a woman are much, much wider, and therefore it's got a lot bigger way for us to move our knees in. So if the glutes aren't firing, which the role of the glutes is to externally rotate the femur and to keep the knees outwards, then actually they can fall in, particularly in a squat position. But what that will do is put more pressure on the knees and put more pressure on the joints all the way up the body.
Yeah, that's what you see. Yeah, niggly knees and stuff. No, it's really, really interesting. So with lockdown slowly getting looser, although if you're in Bournemouth, it's gone with a big bang. Everyone's like enjoying themselves on the beaches and stuff down there, aren't they? But as we come out of lockdown and we're potentially going to be opening the gym in the next few weeks. People are going to be presumably going back to exercising more again, and certainly using weights and things in more. Something I've noticed, and we mentioned before, is that I'm just not as strong as I was, because I've been doing lots of body weight exercises with our members over Zoom, and now live as well. But I'm not as. So what sort of things should we be looking out for as we come out of lockdown, thinking about getting back into the gym? Have you got any advice for us as we head back to lifting weights, etc.?
It'll be interesting to see how people go back, because in a mindset point of view, if you're somebody who's tracking your weights and knowing what you're lifting, to come back, I don't know, what has it been, 3, 4, 5 months, to come back and believe that you could lift the same amount of weight that you did months ago, is probably going to cause injury. So it's about building it up from the bottom again, and using the opportunity now until the gym's open is to really start preparing your body and making sure that you are using the right muscles, so that you have good posture, you are balanced from left to right, so that you can progress back into those larger weights where you were before much quicker.
So it's like, this is a good time to get the foundations right, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
So definitely posture, but also things like left and right, unilateral work. People forget single leg exercises quite a lot. And actually, if you, for example, balance on one leg, but you can't balance on the other side, that's a key indicator that there's something going wrong there.
Yeah, that's good. And then as we come back to the gyms, obviously we're not going to be as strong, are we? So we need to go back a good few steps and take it, sort of ease ourselves into it. Have you got any other tips on coming back into the gym environment?
I mean, it's getting that mindset down, isn't it? That actually creating yourself a plan, even if it's that getting support from somebody to help you with that plan, so that you can gradually go back, because you're not going to be as strong as where you were before, potentially, depending on where you were, if you were lifting heavy weights. And it's knowing that if you write a plan, okay, well, I know I'm not going to be as strong, so let's bring it down, maybe bring it down to 60% in your weight selection, and then slowly build it up. But it's having that patience from a mindset point of view, because it could be quite demotivating.
Yeah, double P, patience and a plan. I like that. Double P. Yeah, great. And so if our members are interested, and we've sort of put it out there before, but now if they've seen you and what you're talking, is great sense there, and once people put a picture to something and they've seen someone talking something, it might fire things up. So if our guys are interested in doing a workshop or webinar, are there ways they can get in touch with you guys directly?
Yeah, absolutely. I can give you a link that you can post onto your social media and to go through to our workshop. We have one already set up for the 26th of July for lower body, so hips, back, knees, feet and ankle. But if you get quite a lot of interest from all of your members, we could actually do one specifically for your guys, and do it much more personalized to your team. So if you do have pain, anything, aches and pains that you think, right, that's actually going to get worse, or I can't get rid of, that's where these workshops are going to come in handy, because we can actually do the assessments, the tests it's all on Zoom still, understand what's causing your pain and learn exactly what you need to do to get out of it.
Yeah, that sounds brilliant. And we'll put the link up on it, and we'll ask our members specifically if they want to do one, and we'll create something for our members if there's that demand. That's brilliant. Thank you very much. What are you most looking forward to doing after lockdown?
Honestly, going to the pub.
Yeah. Have you got your seat booked on the 4th of July, have you? Or
not yet, no. But I tend to go out in London, so
I think give it a few days. Wait, everyone's going to be piling in on the 4th. I think give it a few days, and then the rush will have calmed. It's like the shops, everyone queuing like mad for Primark and stuff.
And the other thing I miss is my activities. I do lots of netball, pole fitness, salsa, and so hopefully those things will come back in, because I'm really missing those things.
Yeah, no, team sports and activities. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't do socially distanced salsa, can you? Trying to think.
I'm not sure how that
Netball,
works.
I suppose with netball, you might be able to do it with reduced numbers, maybe. Although you'd have to have balls or something. I don't know. Everyone got their own ball.
I'm a pain relief.
Your mind boggles, doesn't it? All right, brilliant, Tracy. Thanks for your time. That was really, really good, really informative. I love it. And I'm really keen to try and get some of our members onto your workshops. I can think of several who would really, really benefit straight away, and something I might want to do. So we're going to see if our members have got an interest. We'll see if we can do something bespoke to us. Otherwise, they can come directly to you guys.
Yeah, awesome, Rob. Thank you very much for having me on. It's been nice to speak with you.